What is up, everyone? Welcome to the FAA podcast. We are hanging out here, just me today, so gonna run pretty quick. Got a lot of college football, NFL action to talk about. Starting off on Friday, Houston gets a 3-0, 36-20 over Deion Sanders and the Colorado Buffaloes. Connor Wegman was really solid, 62.5%, 222, 75.7%, or 75.7 QBR there. No touchdown passes, but he did have a big workload on the ground, 17 carries, 83 yards, 2 rushing touchdowns. Colorado, interestingly enough, went with Ryan Staub, the former third-string quarterback there for the Buffaloes, just 54.3%, 204, touchdown, 2 picks, 11 carries, 36 yards. He really struggled to decipher the Houston defense and got pressured all day. The offensive line was not protecting him at all. D. Connors, the Rice transfer, he had a great day on the ground, 89 yards on 22 carries, touchdown. Also had 22 receiving yards on 2 catches. Houston wide receiver Stephon Johnson, 100 yards, 5 for 117, leading the game in receiving and defensively. I'm going to go with Houston defensive lineman Carlos Allen Jr., 7 tackles, 3 solos, 1.5 tackles for loss, and a pass defensed. Houston minus 3.5, covered over 45.5. Arizona 23-17 over K-State. The Wildcats get to 3-0 as well. Noah Fafita was not good. Not good quarterback play at all in this game, but he did enough. The defense did a great job, and they got the win in this one. 48.5% for Fafita, 178, 15 carries, 48 yards, 2 rushing touchdowns, big-time ground attack for the Wildcats in this one. I guess it was Wildcat versus Wildcat. Yeah. So the Arizona Wildcats, I should say. Avery Johnson. And this is why I have not been high on Kansas State, even starting the season out, against Iowa State, where he didn't play terribly in Ireland. But Avery Johnson, he struggles in big games, and he struggles when you need him to be able to throw the ball. Very bad in this game, 44.8%, 88 yards, 1 rushing touchdown. Not going to get it done. K-State's 1-3. Obviously, they have their whole Big 12 schedule to play because this was a non-conference Big 12 game here. They played a Big 12 opponent, but this was considered a non-conference game. So had their whole Big 12 slate ahead of them. Still could do something. I just do not believe in Kansas State this year. Ismail Mahdi had an excellent game. The Texas State transfer, 22 carries, 189 yards, 2 catches for 32 yards. Very, very good day. 221 total scrimmage yards on 24 touches. Jace Brown for Kansas State led the game in receiving. 6 receptions for 68 yards and 75-yard rushing touchdown. He led K-State in rushing. Defensively, how about let's go with Arizona defensive back Jennison Smith. 8 tackles, 4 solos, half a tackle for loss, and 3 passes defensed. Arizona plus 1.5 wins outright. I hit a lone wolf on them, under 56.5. New Mexico, how about the Lobos? Yes, the Lobos. John's Lobos getting it done and getting it done handily in California, 35-10 over UCLA, prompting the firing of Deshaun Foster. UCLA has been just an absolute dumpster fire this season in mostly every phase of the game. Nico Iamaleava, he led the game in passing in this one, 64.7%, 217, a touchdown, a pick, 6 carries, 33 yards. But again, you have to say it because it's greed. What brought Nico to UCLA? It's greed, and God works in mysterious ways, and this is not very mysterious, but it's one of them because he got what exactly he deserved for being greedy and wanting more money than what Tennessee wanted to give him. He thought he was worth more, and he got a little bit more with UCLA, but um, there is no part of Nico Iamaleava that could have thought that when you look at the UCLA roster versus the Tennessee roster, I mean, is night and day. Um, Much more talented in Knoxville than in Los Angeles. So, yeah, um, very happy that Nico is not doing well because that's what you get. Karma. Jack Lane for the Lobos, 75% passing, 152, 2 touchdowns. Great game for him. Damon Bankston, excellent on the ground. The Lobos' ground attack was absolutely dominant. 15 carries, 154 yards, a touchdown, 3 catches for 49 yards, and a receiving score as well for Bankston. Great game for him. UNM scored a bevy, all 5 or 3 of their 5 scores on the ground there. UCLA wide receiver Mikey Matthews led the game in receiving, 3 catches for 67 yards. And defensively, there wasn't a ton of stats. So I am going to go with the bottom guy there. New Mexico to safety Drew Speech, 2 tackles, 1 solo, 2 passes defensed. New Mexico plus 15.5 wins outright easily. Under 52.5. Georgia Tech upset in Atlanta, 24-21 over number 12 Clemson. Clemson drops 1-2. I will maybe go on the Aaron Rodgers route. RELAX. Relax. Clemson is 1-2. Okay. Their 2 losses were 2 very good teams. Georgia Tech is now ranked, I believe, 18th. LSU, number 3. Obviously, the Troy game was not the greatest, but they shut Troy out in the second half and scored enough points to win and win by a couple scores. And I know it doesn't look good, but I'm telling you, I think this Clemson team can still make a run. They got the rest of the ACC schedule to go. They do play Miami, or they do play Florida State, I mean. So that is one big fish they still have on their schedule. I think they can get it. I think they can still do something this year. Go on a run, Dabo. Get this team together. Get Cade playing better, especially in the passing game. You have Adam Randall playing very well in the run game, but you need the passing game to uptick. You need more than just Bryant Wesco on the outside. Someone needs to step up, and I think it's got to be Cade, but we'll see. Haynes King, this guy's just a baller. 71.4%, 211, 25 carries, 103 yards, and a touchdown on the ground. It's ridiculous. Cade Klubnik, I mentioned, 57.7%, 207, a touchdown, a pick, 17 carries, 62 yards, and a rushing score. Adam Randall, I mentioned as well, really good year so far for the Clemson running back. Led the game in rushing outside of Haynes King, led Clemson in rushing, 15 carries, 80 yards, and a touchdown. Bryant Wesco, I mentioned him as well. He's balling. 7 catches, 126 yards, and a touchdown. Defensively, it's the bottom guy, Clemson linebacker Sammy Brown, 5 tackles, 3 solos, a sack, 2 tackles for loss. Georgia Tech plus 2.5 wins outright under a 49.5. Go Dogs. Number 6, Georgia, 44-41 over number 15, Tennessee in overtime. This was just a spectacular game. Instant classic. And yes, you suck, Max Gilbert. I'm very proud to say that. You kind of knew it all along that he wasn't going to make it. Tennessee fans had the thought in their head, but they're like, it can't happen again, right? It can't. It can't, and it did. So, yeah, it happened again. Georgia's won 9 straight against Tennessee, and it's fantastic feeling for all Dog Nation there. Joey Aguilar, this was a high-level quarterback play in this game. 66.7%, 371, 4 touchdowns, 2 picks, and a rushing score. Gunnar Stockton, this was Gunnar Stockton's coming out party. I'm just saying that right now. 74.2%, 304, 2 touchdowns, 13 carries, 38 yards, a touchdown, and a fumble. Nate Frazier led the game in rushing for the Dogs, 14 carries, 73 yards. 2-touchdown day for his counterpart, including the game winner, 7 carries, 17 yards, 2 touchdowns for Josh McCray, the Illinois transfer. Just a ridiculous day for Tennessee wide receiver Chris Brazzell. 6 catches, 177 yards, and 3 touchdowns. His teammate Braylon Staley just short of 109 for 97 and a score. Defensively, I'm going to go with Tennessee defensive lineman Caleb Herring, 4 tackles, 3 solos, 1.5 sacks, 2.5 tackles for loss. Unblockable up front there for the Vols D lineman. Of course, Max Gilbert there. He makes the board, of course. 2 of 3 field goals, 66.7%, 48 long. Missed the game winner in regulation. Made one in overtime, but Georgia scored on a Josh McCray 1-yard rushing touchdown to win it. 5 of 5 extra points for Gilbert there. Tennessee did cover, though, by the hook, plus 3.5, over 50.5, easily 85 points in that game. Crazy game. The backyard brawl. Yeah, I lone wolf Pitt in this one, and I don't know what happened. West Virginia 31-24 in overtime over the Panthers. Eli Holstein, decent numbers. I mean, 59.5%, 303 touchdown, a pick, and a rushing touchdown. For WVU, they played 3 different quarterbacks, and all of them had, a couple passes at least. Nico Martial, which is the guy I thought would play the whole game, 76%, 192, a touchdown. Scotty Fox Jr., 1 of 4, 25%, but he threw it his only completion for 56 yards. Did throw 2 interceptions as well. Jalen Henderson completed 2 of his 3 passes for 12 yards also. So I didn't watch this game, but it was odd to look at the West Virginia stats and see 3 quarterbacks throw multiple passes, at least 3 attempts each. WVU running back Ty Edwards said, Jaheim who? Jaheim White out for the season. West Virginia's supposed best player, but Ty Edwards had a hell of a day, filling in for him in his first start. 25 carries, 141 yards, and 3 touchdowns. That'll do, sir. Pitt couldn't run the ball. You see Jules Goff there, leading rusher for Pittsburgh, just 37 yards on 8 carries. Good average, 4.6, but the total yards is not very good. Pitt did get a 100-yard day out of wide receiver Raphael Williams Jr., 6 for 119 and a score. Defensively, I'm going with WVU defensive lineman Edward Vesterainen. 4 tackles, 1 solo, 2 sacks, 2 tackles for loss. WVU plus 6.5 wins outright, over 54.5 by the hook. Number 14, Iowa State, 24-16 over Arkansas State. A difficult one on the road in Arkansas. Yeah, but look at it, and Iowa State's 4-0. Who cares, right? Including a 1-0 record in the Big 12 because of their opening win against Kansas State. Rocco Becht, not the best day, but solid nonetheless. 56%, 265, a touchdown, a pick, and a rushing score. For the Red Wolves, it was Jalen Rayner, 57.6%, 222, a pick, 16 carries, 83 yards, and a rushing touchdown. Iowa State got a lot of ground game in this one. Carson Hansen, 18 carries, 116 yards, and a 14-yard catch as well. Iowa State wide receiver Xavier Townsend led the game in receiving, 3 catches, 92 yards. And defensively, I'm going to go with Iowa State defensive lineman Ikenna Ezioga. 3 tackles, 2 solos, 1 sack, 2 tackles for loss. The Cyclones, or actually the Red Wolves, I should say, cover easily, plus 20.5, under 55.5. What is wrong with Texas? Number 7, Texas, 27-10 over UTEP. Arch Manning is what's wrong with Texas, I have to say. Got outplayed by his classmate, Malachi Nelson, the number 1 QB in the class of 2023, I believe it was. 66.7% for Nelson, 209, 2 picks. Arch Manning, just abysmal. 44%, 114, a touchdown, a pick, 9 carries, 51 yards, 2 touchdowns on the ground. The 2 touchdowns are good, I guess, in the rushing yards, but yeah, the passing game is non-existent with Texas right now. I mean, he might have played worse in this game than he did against Ohio State, to be honest. And yeah, I mean, if you're Texas, like, you got to keep it going, but I don't know. I mean, this does not look like a team. Defensively, I think it still is, but offensively, I just don't know how this team will do anything in the SEC, let alone the CFP. So, yeah, we will continue to monitor how Arch plays going forward into the SEC. But James Simon led the game in rushing for Texas, 17 carries, 67 yards, and an 8-yard catch as well. UTEP wide receiver Trayvon Tate, he had led the game in receiving, 6 for 64. Defensively, I'm going with Texas defensive lineman Hero Kanu, 3 tackles, 2 solos, 1 sack, 2 tackles for loss. UTEP covered quite easily, plus 40.5, under 52.5. Number 17, Ole Miss squeaks one by 41-35 over Arkansas. Surprise start for Trinidad Chambliss at quarterback. 72.4%, 353, touchdown, 15 carries, 62 yards, 2 rushing touchdowns. I think he balled out. That's how the kids say it nowadays. But yeah, Trinidad Chambliss was absolutely fantastic in this game and probably deserves more starts. I mean, Austin Simmons completed his only pass for a 4-yard touchdown, but I think you saw the difference in this game with Chambliss at quarterback versus Simmons. I think they hit another level, and they needed it because Taylon Green gave him all that he could. 62.9% passing, 305, a touchdown, 14 carries, 115 yards on the ground and a touchdown, 420 total yards and 2 touchdowns for Taylon Green. Crazy good game in the loss. Arkansas running back Mike Washington Jr., he had 2 scores on the ground to go on his 13 carries, 65 yards, also caught 2 for 53. Leading the game in receiving, Penn State transfer Harrison Wallace III for Ole Miss, 6 catches, 92 yards, and a score. Defensively, I'm going to go with Arkansas defensive back Julian Neal, 6 tackles, 4 solos, 2 passes defensed. Ole Miss minus 4.5, covered over 60.5, 76 in that game. Go Tigers, number 3 LSU, 20-10 over Florida. DJ Lagway, worst game as a college starter, 67.3%, 287, a touchdown, threw 5 picks in this one, 9 carries for 19 yards as well. Garrett Nussmeier, not very good against this Gators defense, 55.6%, 220, a touchdown, and a pick. They got some ground game, though, for the first time, I think, really all season. LSU's running back Caden Durham led the game in rushing, 15 carries, 93 yards. Leading the game in receiving, LSU as well. Wide receiver Aaron Anderson, 4 catches for 75 yards. And defensively, how about the guy that scored a touchdown? LSU safety Deshaun Spears, 2 tackles, 1 solo, 2 picks. One of them returned for a touchdown for 58 yards. LSU minus 5.5, covered under 47.5 easily. Number 16, Texas A&M, the shocker in South Bend, 41-40 over number 8 Notre Dame, who falls to 0-2 after their season opening loss to Miami a bye week last week. Marcel Reed balled out. I know the completion percentage is very bad, 45.9%, but he threw for 360 yards, long bombs for Marcel Reed, 2 touchdowns, a pick, 7 carries for 37 yards. Thought he might have more rushing production, but you never know with college football because of the sack yards counting as rushing yards against the quarterback. So CJ Carr, not terrible, 62.5%, 293, a touchdown and a pick, but didn't get enough on the night there. Jeremiah Love for the Irish, he was good, 23 carries, 94 yards, led the game in rushing, a touchdown, 4 catches for 53 yards, and a receiving touchdown as well. Le'Veon Moss was just a beast for A&M, 20 carries, 81 yards, and 3 touchdowns for him. Notre Dame running back Jadarian Price had 2 scores on his 12 carries for 68 yards as well. How about Mario Craver, the wideout for the Aggies? A monstrous 7 catches, 207 yards, and a touchdown. That is ridiculous. Defensively, I'm going with the guy that scored a touchdown. Notre Dame safety Tade Johnson scored the first touchdown of the game, 6 tackles, all of them solos, a pass defense, 20-yard blocked punt return for a touchdown. A&M plus 7.5 wins outright over 48.5 easily, 81 points. Tulane getting a win over Duke, 34-27. snuffing out the Darian Mensah revenge game there. Darian Mensah did lead the game in passing, though, and he was quite good, actually, against his former team. 58.8%, 313, 3 touchdowns, and a pick. Not a bad stat line. Jake Retzlaff was just better. The BYU transfer to Tulane, 65.2%, 245, 17 carries, 111 yards, a Tulane record 4 rushing touchdowns at the quarterback position. Did have a fumble, but yeah, ridiculous rushing production for Jake Retzlaff, 356 total yards, 4 touchdowns on the night. Tulane wide receiver Shaz Preston led the game in receiving, caught 3 for 95, and defensively, I'm going to go with Tulane defensive back Javian White, 4 tackles, all of them solos, a tackle for loss, pass defense, and a pick. Tulane plus 1.5 wins outright, over 53.5. The FCS game of the week brought us a good one. Number 5 Montana, the Grizz, getting a 1-point win over number 16 North Dakota, 24-23. Kelly Ayat, he was pretty solid for Montana, 64.1%, 300, 2 touchdowns, 2 picks. Another one of those games for quarterback Jerry Kaminsky that the completion percentage does not look good, but the overall stats do. 42.5%, 258, 3 touchdowns, a pick, 12 carries for 85 yards. So really solid night for Kaminsky in the 1-point loss. North Dakota wide receiver BJ Fleming, he led the game in receiving, big time night, 5 catches, 138 yards, and a touchdown. 2 touchdown day for Montana's leading receiver Brooks Davis, 5 for 98 and 2 scores. And defensively, 3 picks in total. Both of Ayat's interceptions went to defensive back Antonio Blewett for the Fighting Hawks, and Montana's defensive player of the game was linebacker Peyton Wing with the lone interception off of Kaminsky. North Dakota plus 1.5. They covered by the hook. Don't see that often. Under 54.5. Let's go to NFL action. Seahawks getting the win, 31-17 over the Steelers. This was a paltry game that really hankered on the third quarter. Sam Darnold was solid, 66.7%, 295, 2 touchdowns, 2 picks. Aaron Rodgers wasn't bad either, per se, 54.5%, 203, a touchdown, 2 picks. But this game, again, happened in 2 plays, right? Seahawks go down, tie the game at 14. The ensuing kickoff, okay? Caleb Johnson, the rookie second rounder out of Iowa, on the kickoff return, doesn't touch the ball at all, lets it bounce over his shoulder into the end zone. The ball does not go out of bounds. George Holani goes down on the Seahawks kick coverage team, recovers it in the end zone for a touchdown. Caleb Johnson never knew that it would be a live ball. So, yeah, he is off the kick return duties for now and likely glued to the bench for weeks to come, I would have to think, especially under old school coach like Mike Tomlin. Kenneth Walker III had a 100-yard day on the ground for Seattle, 13 carries, 105 yards, touchdown, and a 13-yard reception. Steelers couldn't run the ball once again. Jalen Warren struggled sub 3.5 yards per carry there. Jackson Smith-Njigba, massive day for him, over 100 yards, caught 8 of his 10 targets for 103 yards. And defensively, a lot of defensive stats in this one. I am going to go with Seahawks defensive tackle Byron Murphy, the second, 5 tackles, 2 solos, 1.5 sacks, 1 tackle for loss, 3 QB hits. Nick Herbig, also a big-time day for the Steelers defense, filling in for the injured Alex Highsmith. Seahawks plus 3.5 went outright, over 40.5. Rams get the 2-0, 33-19 blundering of the Titans. Matthew Stafford was excellent, 69.7%, 298, 2 touchdowns, and a pick. Cam Ward struggled once again in his second career game, 57.6%, 175, 1 touchdown, and a fumble. The touchdown should have never happened. The Rams completely blew that defensively. Titans running back Tony Pollard led the game in rushing, 20 carries, 92 yards. Leading the game in receiving was Rams wide receiver Devontae Adams, 6 catches, 106 yards, a touchdown, and 13 targets. First 100-yard game for him as a Ram. Defensively, I'm going to go with Rams linebacker Byron Young, 5 tackles, 4 solos, 2 sacks, 2 tackles for loss, 2 QB hits. The Rams covered -5.5, easily over 40.5, 52. A shocker in Cincinnati Bengals, 31-27 over the Jags. Small print here. That's because not only was there a lot of offensive production in this game, there was a lot of solid defensive performances as well. Trevor Lawrence, 57.1%, 271, 3 touchdowns, 2 picks. Joe Burrow, injured in this game, 53.8%, 76 yards, a touchdown. Jake Browning balled out when he came in. 65.6%, 241, 2 touchdowns. Did throw 3 picks, but he had a rushing touchdown as well. So crazy that there are 5 interceptions in this game, and we still had 58 points. Travis Etienne Jr., he led the game in rushing for Jacksonville. Another good day for him. 14 carries, 71 yards, 2 catches, 18 yards, and a touchdown. Reception. Bengals could not run the ball for the second straight week. Chase Brown just 2.9 yards per carry. Jamar Chase just was ridiculous in this game. Caught 14 of his 16 targets, 165 yards, and a touchdown. He also had double-digit targets for Jags wide receiver Brian Thomas Jr., caught 4 for 49. And defensively, I mean, take your pick. There was just performance after performance after performance. I think I am going to go with Jags defensive end Trayvon Walker, though. 5 tackles, 3 solos, a sack, tackle for loss, pass defense, and 3 QB hits. The Bengals covered -3.5, over 50.5. Ravens just demolishing Cleveland, 41-17 over the Browns. Lamar Jackson was amazing, 65.5%, 225, 4 touchdowns, 2 carries for 13 yards. Couple quarterbacks for the Browns. Joe Flacco, 55.6%, 199, a touchdown, a pick, and a fumble. Dylan Gabriel got his first NFL action in the regular season of his career. Completed all 3 of his passes, 19 yards, and a touchdown. Really solid debut. Speaking of debuts, Browns running back Quinshon Judkins led the game in rushing in his debut. 10 carries, 61 yards, 3 catches for 10 yards. Interestingly enough, the Browns shutting down the Ravens' rushing attack. You see Lamar just 13 yards. Derrick Henry stuffed 23 yards on 11 carries. Not what you want there. Ravens wide receiver Zay Flowers, back-to-back good games, caught 7 of his 11 targets for 75 yards, lead the game in receiving. And defensively, dude, Roquan Smith, I mean, this is a ridiculous stat line. Linebacker for Baltimore, 15 tackles, 8 solos, 3 tackles for loss, 2 QB hits, and a 63-yard fumble return for a touchdown. That is just wild. I mean, Browns defensive end Myles Garrett rivaled him for sure, but Roquan was definitely the defensive player of the game here. Ravens -12.5 covered, over 46.5. Almost by themselves. The Bills beating up on the Jets 30-10. Josh Allen, not the greatest, 56%, 148, 6 carries, 59 yards. Didn't score on the day, which was weird. Mitch Trubisky also played late, completed 1 of his 2 passes for 32 yards. Justin Fields got banged up in this one. He was terrible even before he went out. Just 27.3% passing, 27 yards, 5 carries, 49 yards, and a fumble. Tyrod Taylor was more efficient, but still not good. 63.6%, 56 yards, a touchdown, 3 carries for 21 yards there. James Cook was running through everything, including the Jets defense on Sunday. 21 carries for the Bills running back, 132 yards, 2 touchdowns, and a 3-yard reception. Jets wide receiver Garrett Wilson led the game in receiving, caught 4 of his 8 targets for 50 yards. And defensively, I'm going to go with Jets defensive tackle Jawan Briggs. 5 tackles, 4 solos, a sack, tackle for loss, 2 QB hits. Joey Bosa, similar stat line there for Buffalo. Bills -5.5 covered easily, under 46.5. The Patriots get to 1-1, 33-27. First win for Mike Vrabel as head coach. Tua Tagovailoa. This is the Dolphins offense that we're waiting to see, right? This is what the Dolphins offense that we've looked for. 81.3% for Tua, 315, 2 touchdowns, a pick. That was atrocious, to say the least. And when you look at that interception, it really mattered because the Dolphins had to score a touchdown instead of a field goal at the end. Weren't able to do it, and they were in field goal range for Riley Patterson. Drake May, he was good. Excellent even. 82.6%, 230, 2 touchdowns, 10 carries, 31 yards, a rushing score as well. Patriots were able to run the ball. Running back Ramondre Stevenson led the game in rushing, 11 carries, 54 yards, 5 catches caught off 5 of his targets for 88 yards. Interesting big receiving day for Stevenson. Not usually a guy you think of when you look at that. Big receiving day for Dolphins running back Devon Achane. He was not able to get anything on the ground, 11 carries for 30 yards. But receiving-wise, caught 8 of 10 targets for 92 yards and a touchdown. Antonio Gibson, good average on the ground, 5 for 27 and a 1-yard reception. But his biggest play was a 90-yard kick return touchdown. That was the play after the kickoff after the Dolphins had scored on Malik Washington's 74-yard punt return touchdown. So it was just special teams for special teams touchdown there and really flipped the game back in favor of the Patriots on that one. Tyreek Hill, vintage performance for him, caught 6 of 7 targets for 109 yards. And defensively, I got to go with Patriots defensive end Milton Williams, 3 tackles, all of them solos, 2 sacks, 2 tackles for loss, 1 QB hit. Patriots plus 2.5 went outright over 42.5. 60 in that one. Niners get to 2-0, 26-21 over the Saints. Yes, Mac Jones winning the game for San Francisco, 66.7%, 279, 3 touchdowns and a fumble. Balling out did Mac Jones on Sunday. Spencer Rattler, again, for the second straight week, I think the Saints have not played terribly. I do not think they are as bad as what we think they were. Spencer Rattler's really played well. They just got to finish it if they can. 73.5% for Rattler, 207, 3 touchdowns, 4 carries, 14 yards. Saints running back Alvin Kamara, talk about Tyreek Hill having a vintage performance. How about Kamara vintage as well? 99 yards on 21 carries and a fumble of the game in rushing. Caught all 6 of his targets for 21 yards. Christian McCaffrey, 100 yards, scrimmage day for him, 13 carries, 55 yards. Caught 6 of 7 targets, 52 yards and a touchdown. How about Jawan Jennings? Leading the game in receiving for San Fran, caught 5 of his 10 targets for 89 yards and a touchdown. 10-target day for Chris Olave as well on New Orleans side, caught 6 for 54. And defensively, big-time day for Saints defensive end Carl Granderson, 7 tackles, 5 solos, 2 sacks, 3 tackles for loss, 3 QB hits. Niners minus 2.5, covered over 40.5. The Cowboys had a barn burner in Dallas, 41-37 over the Giants in overtime. Russell Wilson, just a throwback in this game, 73.2%, 450, 3 touchdowns, a pick, 3 carries for 23 yards. Dak Prescott was just as good, 73.1%, 361, 2 touchdowns, a pick, 3 carries for 17 yards. Javonte Williams, big-time day for him on the Cowboys side. 18 carries, 97 yards, led the game in rushing and a touchdown. Caught 6 of 7 targets for 33 yards. Cam Scatterbo had his first career rushing touchdown. Malik Neighbors and Wan'Dale Robinson and CeeDee Lamb all over 100. Neighbors, 9 of 13 targets for 167 and 2 touchdowns. Robinson, 8 of 10 targets for 142 and a score. Lamb for Dallas, 9 of 11 targets for 112. You had 12-target day for tight end Jake Ferguson on the Cowboys side, caught 9 for 78. And a whole host of defensive performances as well. I got to go with the guy on the bottom, Giants linebacker Brian Burns, though, 3 tackles, all of them solos, 1 sack, 2 tackles for loss, 1 pass defense, and a QB hit. Giants plus 4.5, covered over 44.5 quite easily. 77 points in Dallas. Talk about points. The Lions had a lot of them by themselves. 52-21 over the Bears, just a throttling in Detroit. Jared Goff was spectacular. 82.1%, 334, 5 touchdown passes on the day. Caleb Williams, not terrible. This is a winning type of stat line here for Caleb. 63.3%, 207, 2 touchdowns, a pick, 5 carries, 27 yards as well. Ben Johnson's first win as a head coach will wait one more week. Tyson Bagent came in at the end, completed 2 of his 3 passes for 27 yards. Lions running back Jahmyr Gibbs, big day, over 100 scrimmage yards, led the game in rushing, 12 carries, 94 yards, a touchdown, 3 catches for 10 yards. You had Bears wide receiver Roma Dunze up over 100 yards, caught 7 of 11 targets for 128, 2 touchdowns. Amon-Ra St. Brown and Jameson Williams over 100 for Detroit. Amon-Ra, a ridiculous day, 9 of 11 targets for 115, 3 touchdowns. Williams caught 2 of his 4 targets, 108 yards and a touchdown. Yes, that is 54 yards per reception there. Yes, that is what that says. Lions safety Brian Branch is my defensive player of the game. 6 tackles, all of them solos, a sack, 2 tackles for loss, pass defense, and a QB hit. Lions minus 6.5, cover easily. They win by 31. Over 45.5 by themselves. 73 in that game. Cardinals hanging on, 27-22 over the Panthers. Bryce Young, for how bad the first quarter went, the second half was really solid for Bryce Young. 63.6%, 328, 3 touchdowns, a pick, and a fumble. Kyler Murray, 68%, 220, a touchdown, a pick, 7 carries, 32 yards. And I kept thinking, we were watching this game, I was like, dude, there's no way. There's no way the Panthers come back. And they got to about the Cardinals' 35-yard line, I want to say, and couldn't keep the drive going at the end because of Calais Campbell. But I'll get to him in a second. Really good day for him. Chuba Hubbard, he led the game in rushing. Not a great day on the ground for either side. 10 carries, 38 yards, caught 5 of 6 targets for 39 yards and a receiving touchdown. Tetairoa McMillan, first 100-yard day of his career, and he has been really good through 2 games for Carolina. 8th overall pick, caught 6 of his 10 targets, 100 yards in this game. 2 touchdown day for Panthers wide receiver Hunter Renfrow, caught 7 of 9 for 48 yards and 2 scores. Defensively, I mentioned Calais Campbell, 5 tackles, 4 solos, 2 sacks, 2 tackles for loss, 2 QB hits. And you gotta, I kind of want to go though with the guy that scored a touchdown. I'm partial to defensive touchdowns. Cardinals linebacker Zaven Collins, tackle, it was a solo, 4 QB hits and a 3-yard fumble return for a touchdown to open the scoring in this game. Panthers plus 6.5. They did backdoor cover it though at the end. 2 touchdowns in the fourth quarter, over 45.5 as well, because they kept scoring 49 in that one. This game ended the stupidest way possible. Broncos getting, Spencer Schrader missing a 60-yard field goal that would have won the game. Leverage called on the Broncos, the dumbest penalty in the NFL. 15 yards that moves it to a 45-yarder. Of course, Schrader spanks it home, and the Colts walk it off. Just a stupid game. 29-28 over the Broncos for Indy. Daniel Jones, I do say, though, he is looking really good. 67.6%, 316, a touchdown, and a rushing touchdown as well. Bo Nix played well, 73.3%, 206, 3 touchdowns, a pick, 3 carries for 20 yards. Jonathan Taylor, a monstrous day in Indy, 25 carries, 165 yards, 2 catches for 50 yards, and a receiving touchdown. Broncos wide receiver Troy Franklin led the game in receiving, caught 8 of his 9 targets for 89 yards and a touchdown. And defensively, it wasn't a ton. I'm going to go with Colts defensive tackle DeForest Buckner, though, 6 tackles, 5 solos, 2 tackles for loss. Colts plus 1.5 went outright over 43.5. 57 in that one. Eagles, go Birds, 20-17 over the Chiefs. Chiefs are 0-2. Patrick Mahomes, 55.2%, 187, a touchdown and a pick, 7 carries, 66 yards, and a rushing touchdown. Back-to-back weeks so far. Patrick Mahomes, your leading rusher for the Kansas City Chiefs. Not good. Jalen Hurts struggled. There was nothing in the downfield passing game in this one. 68.2%, 101, 9 carries, 15 yards, and a rushing touchdown. Saquon Barkley led the game in rushing for Philly, 22 carries, 88 yards, a touchdown, and 2 catches for 6 yards. Travis Kelce led the game in receiving for Kansas City, caught 4 of his 6 targets for 61 yards. Defensively, dude, how about the day for Eagles safety Andrew Makuba? The second round rookie, 6 tackles, 5 solos, a half a sack, tackle for loss, pass defense, 1 QB hit, and a pick. A big-time day for Makuba. Moro Ojimo, Jalen Carter also big inside for Philly. Eagles minus 1.5 covered under 46.5. Sunday Night Football, the Falcons romping the Vikings in Minneapolis. J.J. McCarthy was terrible. 52.4%, 158, 2 picks, 5 carries, 25 yards, and a fumble. Good thing for the Vikings. They did not have to watch him for weeks now. Michael Penix Jr., not the greatest, 61.9%, 135. He didn't have to do a lot, though. The Falcons ran the ball excellently in this one. Bijan Robinson was just ridiculous. 22 carries, 143 yards, 3 catches on 5 targets for 25 yards. Algier scoring the only touchdown for Atlanta for the game on this in this one. And the Vikings could not run the ball. Jordan Mason just 3.3 yards per carry on 9 carries there. Justin Jefferson did lead the game in receiving, mostly because of the long reception he caught right before halftime. 3 catches on 6 targets for 81 yards. And a whole host of defensive performances in this game. It's tough to pick one. I'm going to go with Falcons defensive end Zach Carter, though. 5 tackles, 2 solos, 1.5 sacks, 1 tackle for loss, 2 QB hits. Similar stat line for rookie third rounder Brandon Dorlus as well for the Falcons. And how about the new kicker? First start for Atlanta. Kicker Parker Romo made all 5 of his field goals, 54 for a long 1 of 1 extra points. Falcons plus 3.5 went outright under 44.5, easily 28 in that game. Also under in this one last night, doubleheader on Monday Night Football. Bucks 20-19 over the Texans. Comeback win for Baker Mayfield. He was spectacular on that final drive. 65.8% for Bake, 215, 2 touchdowns, 3 carries for 33 yards. CJ Stroud, 54.2%, 207, a touchdown. I hate you, CJ. 3 rushes in the first half. He ended up 4 carries, 27 yards. I had under 3.5 rushing attempts. Of course I did, right? That would have won the lay on that one. Bucky Irving had a spectacular game. 121 total scrimmage yards for him. 17 carries, 71 yards. Led the game in rushing. Caught all 6 of his targets for 50 yards. Bucks wide receiver Mike Evans led the game in receiving. Of course, he couldn't score, Mike. Caught 5 of 11 targets for 56 yards. And defensively, I'm going with Texans defensive end Danielle Hunter, 5 tackles, 3 solos, 2 sacks, 2 tackles for loss, and 1 QB hit. Bucks plus 2.5 went outright under 42.5. Even lower scoring was the late game, 10 p.m. kickoff Eastern for this game. Chargers 20-9 over the Raiders. Justin Herbert continues his hot start to the season, 70.4%, 242, 2 touchdowns, 9 carries for 31 yards, and a fumble. Geno Smith struggled after balling out last week against New England, 55.8%, 183 picks, 5 carries for 21 yards. Ashton Genty ended up leading the game in rushing, albeit sub 4 yards per carry there. 11 carries, 43 yards, and 3 catches for 1 yard. Chargers wide receiver Quentin Johnston, a big game once again for him. Long touchdown, caught 3 of his 7 targets, 71 yards and a touchdown, 60 of that on his touchdown reception. 12 target day for Raiders wide receiver Jacoby Myers, caught 6 for 68. And defensively, I mean, who do you pick? There's multiple guys here. I'm going to go with one guy on each side. Chargers linebacker Deion Henley, who was questionable with an illness to start the game. 10 tackles, led the game in tackles, 7 solos, sacked, 2 tackles for loss, 2 pass defense, 1 QB hit, and a pick. A ridiculous game for Henley. And how about Jonah Laulu, the 2024 7th rounder for the Raiders? 4 tackles, 3 solos, 2 sacks, 3 tackles for loss, 3 QB hits. Excellent game for the big man inside. Chargers minus 3.5, covered easily, under 46.5, easily 29 points in that one. Well, I mentioned Deshaun Foster got fired from UCLA, 5-10 record in his 1 season and 3 games, 3-6 in Big Ten play. Virginia Tech also firing head coach Brent Pry. I was kind of shocked by that one. 16-24, though. The record does not lie. 10-13 in the ACC in his 2 seasons and 3 games. 1-1 in bowls. He or his 3 seasons and 3 games, I should say. They won their bowl game in 2023. Did not win their bowl game last year, though. NFL news. We had a trade go down this weekend. It was the Saints acquiring another wide receiver. More so for the future, though. Wide receiver Jalen Polk coming in from the Patriots. He is currently on IR with a shoulder injury. They also got a 2028 7th round selection. Patriots get back a 2027 6th round pick. And I don't get it for the Patriots, right? You spent a 2nd round pick on him just last year. Like, what are we doing? I have no clue what the Patriots are doing. I guess they saw a sunk cost there. But yeah, that's high draft capital. I know it's a different regime now, but that's high draft capital to let go for a future 6th round pick just 1 year into his career. General news, the Raiders, big deal about Tom Brady, the Fox broadcaster and the Raiders minority owner, sitting in the coach's box last night with a headset on. And the NFL put out a statement saying Brady is prohibited from going to team facilities for practices and production meetings. However, it is not against the rules to sit in the coach's box with a headset on like he did last night. So nothing illegal about that because the NFL doesn't have any rules on it. So IR, the Colts, they placed corner Jalen Jones on IR. Rams corner Akella Witherspoon as well. Broken clavicle for him. He's done for the year or close to it. Chargers linebacker Denzel Perriman also on IR. High ankle sprain, 4 to 6 weeks. The Commanders, running back Austin Eckler, confirmed out for the season. Torn Achilles for him. Other injuries, Steelers linebacker Alex Highsmith, 4 to 6 weeks he is out. High ankle sprain. Bengals, big time loss in Cincinnati. Quarterbacks galore going down this week. But Burrow, 3 months he is out for. Grade 3 turf toe, requires surgery. Also some torn ligaments there. Jets, quarterback Justin Fields, he is in concussion protocol. Not sure if he's going to play this week. Cowboys, they lost center Cooper Beebe for 6 to 8 weeks. He has a high ankle sprain. They placed him on IR. Ravens, linebacker Kyle Van Noy, he is out 2 to 4 weeks with a hamstring injury. Bears corner Jalen Johnson, he is out indefinitely, re-aggravated a groin injury he was dealing with in camp. Came back for he missed week 1 as well. Came back for this week, re-aggravated it. He is out indefinitely. Saints, bad news for rookie defense tackle Vernon Broughton. He is done for the year. He has a hip injury. Vikings dealing with a bevy of injuries. Quarterback J.J. McCarthy, he is out 2 to 4 weeks with a high ankle sprain. Center Ryan Kelly and offensive tackle Justin Skule, they are both in concussion protocol. And running back Aaron Jones today being placed on IR, hamstring injury, 2 to 4 weeks. Commanders, quarterback Jaden Daniels, he has a knee sprain, likely out this week. The Panthers, big time losses on the O-line. Guard Robert Hunt is done for the year, torn biceps. Center Austin Corbett, he is placed on IR with an MCL sprain. Bucks also not great news on one front. Defense tackle Kalijah Cansey, torn pec last night. He is done for the year. They did get some good news on right tackle Luke Gadecki, though. He is not done for the year. Multiple weeks he is out, though. Re-aggravated a foot injury he was dealing with before the game. Big time money in Dallas. Micah Parsons got traded, so they had some money to spend, and they spent it on guard Tyler Smith. 4 years, $96 million extension, $81.2 million guaranteed for Tyler Smith, highest paid guard in NFL history now. And they need it. They need to protect Dak, and they have had offensive line injuries galore this offseason training camp and now into the regular season with Cooper Peavy going down. So Tyler Smith needs to step up, lead that O-line there in Dallas. A release that happened today, surprising one in Jacksonville. They released safety Darnell Savage, former high-round draft pick. So he is looking for work. Pretty solid player, character concerns potentially there. Bevy of signings, lower-level deals. The Cowboys, they signed Panthers edge rusher Jadeveon Clowney to a 1-year, $3.5 million $6 million max value, and he said he is going to play this week, make his Dallas Cowboys debut. So much needed pass rush help for the Cowboys. Bears, they signed 49ers kicker Jake Moody to the practice squad after he was cut by San Francisco. The Commanders, looking for running back depth, they signed Bucs running back Chase Edmonds to their practice squad. Texans re-signing safety Jalen Mills to their practice squad. The Bengals getting some QB depth behind new starter Jake Browning. Packers quarterback Sean Clifford, Bills quarterback Mike White both signed to the practice squad, and Brett Rippon elevated to the 53. And the Vikings, they signed former Raiders quarterback Desmond Ridder to the 53-man roster, getting a backup for Carson Wentz, and new starter Carson Wentz there. And they re-signed running back Cam Akers to the practice squad. Workouts, the Commanders, they worked out Steelers edge rusher Preston Smith, and the Steelers, they hosted Patriots linebacker Juwan Bentley on a visit as well. All right, pick standings. This does not include the 2 games last night because it is a different week. So this is from weeks 1 and 2, not or this is from the opener and the week 1 Monday night, week 2 Thursday night. That is what this standings are through. So John, the only one with a loss, he lone wolfed the Bears on Monday Night Football week 1. That is why he has a loss. So going into it, though, when we look at this standings next week, of course, we all could have a loss because of Thursday Night Football, but Logan will be down because he did lone wolf the Texans last night, and we all picked the Chargers. So Logan is going to be down at least with John, Jimmy, Danny, and I still perfect. So hopefully we can keep that way on Thursday, because we are all on the Buffalo Bills. Bills hosting the Dolphins 13. It is down to 12.5 actually now for Buffalo, but it's ridiculous spread for NFL game. And I lean Dolphins. I took Dolphins plus 14 on an alternate spread there. I think they should be able to stay within 2 touchdowns based on how this offense played last week. If they can protect Tua, that's a big if. If they can get any stops on defense, that's a big if. Should be a high-scoring affair, I think, just like the Ravens game was for Buffalo. But it also could be a complete blowout like the Bills had against the Jets this past weekend. I'm not really sure. I lean on the high-scoring affair side, though, in my mind. Total is 49.5. There you go. That that shows that the bookmakers think it's going to be high-scoring as well. I like the over. 8:15 p.m. Prime Video on Thursday. That is the show for today. I'm not seeing anything new on the Twitter feed here. So next week we'll be back talking NFL Week 4. We got the Monday Night Football big time Monday Night Football. Lions at the Ravens. I think that thing should be a high-scoring affair as well in Baltimore. And we had the Week 4 kickoff Thursday night. NFC West action. Seahawks at the Cardinals. That one I think should be a good game as well. Don't forget to follow us on all our social media at FAA Podcast, Instagram and X, FAA_bets on X as well. FAApodcast.com is our website. Check us out here on YouTube, Facebook, X, and Instagram, as well as Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and iHeartRadio. Thank you all for watching. We will see y'all back for Football Friday.